Dear viewers, don't forget to like this video and subscribe this channel. Enjoy your listening.
This happened 15 years ago. My son was 10 at the time, so I remember it clearly. I live in a small rural town. That day, I had gone to the district center. I was in a great mood because I had successfully gotten my teeth fixed, made some good purchases, and bought a treat for my son. After taking care of everything in town, I headed to the bus station to go home. I bought a ticket and sat in the waiting area, feeling relaxed. My bus was scheduled to leave in about 10 to 15 minutes. Suddenly, I felt a sharp chill run through me. I was reading a book and caught, out of the corner of my eye, the sight of the station door opening as someone walked in. It was a man. He headed straight toward me and sat down next to me. Even though the waiting area was almost empty and there were plenty of available seats, I felt a wave of anxiety wash over me, as if 1,000 needles were pricking my skin. Unable to sit still, I forced myself to get up. Glancing briefly at the man, I nearly fainted. My tongue went numb, my legs turned icy, and my heart started pounding wildly. Imagine my shock. Sitting before me was my father, my late father. He had passed away 3 years earlier at the age of 69. I had closed his eyes myself, yet there he was, those same gray eyes, the same crow's feet around his eyes, the same coat and the same cap on his head. Can you imagine? The man spoke to me. "Calm down, don't worry. Listen to me carefully. Why didn't you treat your father? His throat was sick, wasn't it? Why didn't you send him to me? I could have cured him. I knew how. I was sick with the same thing." And he named my father's diagnosis. "I was born in 1929. I know everything about you. Your name is Mary, and your father's name was Stephen. You need to come see me. My name is John Johnson. I live in the town of Millfield, and I'm waiting for the bus. By the way, you look so much like your father. You're a teacher, right? Make sure to come to me. Do you hear?" Just then, my bus pulled up, and boarding was announced. Terrified, I immediately left the waiting area and went to the platform. There weren't many passengers for my bus. That man followed me out. He entered the bus through the back door while I went in through the front. When everyone was seated and the bus started moving, I looked around but couldn't see him anywhere. But I was sure I had seen him get on. Did he vanish through the roof hatch or something? The bus drove for a long time without stopping. I was traveling to the last stop. A grandmother was seated next to me, so I asked her if she knew a man named John Johnson from Millfield, born in 1929. She said she was also originally from that town, though she now lived elsewhere. Millfield was small, but she had never heard of such a man, even though she was the same age and knew everyone in the area. When the bus finally stopped, I looked over the passengers again and asked, "Has anyone seen an elderly man in a black coat and cap?" To my astonishment and horror, no one had seen such a person. Who was he? Was it really my father's ghost? No one I've told this story to has believed me. They say, "You must have dreamed it," or "You've got such an overactive imagination. How could it have been a dream? I wasn't asleep at the bus station. It all happened for real." Even my husband doesn't believe me, saying, "You made it up. You're such a storyteller." Later that winter, I had a dream about my father. He told me, "Be careful on the road." 2 days later, I slipped on the ice and badly hurt my back. Another incident involving my father happened when I desperately needed money for food for my son, but payday was 3 days away. On a whim, I looked at my dad's photo and said, "Daddy, I need money." A minute later, I accidentally found cash hidden in a book. Does this mean my father is still watching over me, warning me, and guiding me? We were very close and so alike, both in appearance and in spirit. I was truly a daddy's girl. But who was that man at the bus station, and why did he come to me? After the incident, I read online that such occurrences happen to people at stations. I decided to consult a psychic. The psychic explained that the souls of the deceased can visit us to give guidance, even in dreams. But seeing something like that at a bus station is different. Souls don't wander around in broad daylight, accusing or blaming people. That man, she said, was an entity from another dimension. Such beings take on human appearances, approach people, and provoke emotional reactions. They say whatever will stir the deepest feelings in a person. This entity found my vulnerable spot, the loss of my father, and started accusing me of not saving him. Who among us hasn't felt guilty about not doing more for a loved one? In such moments, the psychic advised, one must set aside emotions, imagine a protective shield, and recite the Lord's Prayer several times. It's at places like bus stations, energetically charged hubs of movement and change, that such strange and inexplicable encounters happen. A person's energy field is thinner at these locations, making them more susceptible to such entities. I, being inexperienced in such matters, couldn't fend off the entity. It wasn't my father. Thanks to the psychic, I now understand what happened. I no longer live in fear or confusion and can finally sleep peacefully.
Thanks for listening this story. Share your opinion in comments below. See you in next video.